Okay, so you know how I was talking to you about like wearing the same shirt on the podcast, like I want to pay attention. I didn't even look, so I could be wearing the same shirt, I don't know. But this morning, so I get dressed and I come downstairs and I'm making sure the girls have breakfast. And Lainey looks at me, she's like, Nana, why do you wear the same clothes?
Oh my God. Leave it up to the kids, right?
I was, I was like, I don't wear the same clothes every day. I was like, I didn't wear this shirt yesterday. She's like, I know, but you wear it all the time. I was like, yes, yes, I do. It's like Nana has her favorite shirts, and I do wear them all the
You
time.
tend to wear things that are comfortable.
I
Well,
do.
you didn't hear my conversation because I had these on and you
Oh
didn't.
yeah.
So I made sure when I was getting dressed this morning that I was not going to wear a white shirt.
Oh,
Then I said, and I didn't wash my hair when I had my shower because I knew I was going to put this on and it was just going to sit on it, so I'll wash it later. I thought, I don't care.
it's too much. Like, I mean, I want to look like I'm not dead, and my hair does look good. Oh, I got new satin like silk pillowcases.
Yeah,
Such a world of difference for my hair. I
really?
recommend them. Oh yeah, highly recommend silk pillowcases.
Wow.
Yep, yep, yep.
Awesome sauce.
I know. How's your week?
My week. It's just Monday, isn't it?
It's
Oh, it's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Well, apparently not so good, right?
That's okay. I never know what day it is.
Um, Tuesday. Yeah, it's busy. This morning I spent practically all morning getting the club stuff together and that all situated for the meeting tomorrow and um cleaned up a little bit. This is cleaned up, people.
Mine's not. I'm in the middle of working, so that's just the way that goes.
Yeah. And what else? That's it. Listened to a great big thunderstorm last night again. Woke me up out of a sound sleep.
I wished it would rain here. It hasn't rained in weeks.
Well, in Calgary, they had a huge hailstorm, like windows, houses broken,
Oh
like golf
wow.
ball size hail. So,
No. I don't want I just want rain.
yeah.
Apparently there's a system working around in the Gulf, so maybe
Oh,
another
I heard
hurricane.
that. What's it, Debbie?
No, that's Florida. There's another
Oh,
one. There's another one that's it's not even a tropical storm yet. It's like a depression, so they're just watching it, but
oh,
it is what it is. I can't do anything. We have a generator now though, so we'll be all right.
oh, yeah.
My husband got a generator. So
Look at him,
I know.
fully prepared.
Yep. We try. When you know that's what your life is going to be without electricity for weeks.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it. I feel so bad for those people that go through that kind of stuff, like I said before, because I just can't.
And
I
I
could
couldn't,
not.
I could do that better. Every time I watch a video and there's snow and people are shoveling, I'm like, hell to the no. I will deal with flood, famine, insects, no electricity before I have to shovel anything.
Yeah.
That's just too much work.
So just a small reminder today, don't forget to put the clock up.
Oh, yes, thank you. I will try to remember how I do that.
Just because the last time I felt I caught myself, when you get into the motion of talking and chatting, and then all of a sudden you look up and you see the time and then you're like, okay, now you better watch the time because you don't want this to turn into a 3-day event.
It could. It totally could.
Right?
All right, clock is up. And I know we've only been on here like a few minutes. So,
Oh yeah. It's not a biggie. We're just chatting.
yep,
Just
just chit
chatting.
chatting. So, if you see me beat bopping, it's because I have this song stuck in my head. It's been stuck in my head for days and it won't go away. So, I'm just trying to embrace it. But I don't even know what the name 500 miles. I would walk
Oh yeah.
500. Yeah, that one. So,
So can you hear the little fan on my desk?
no.
Good. Can you hear the outside commotion? Any outside commotion?
I
Good.
hear you, and you're very crisp, and that's all I hear.
Sweet.
Do you hear any of my crazy? All of
Uh,
my fans?
no,
All my wind tunnels going on in here?
no, but this one is like right on my desk. I got a little, I'll show you just so you can see. I got a little USB kind of scenario. I don't know if you could see it.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of like mine.
It's just a baby. It's just a baby.
Mine's
But
little.
I needed something because I found as we were chatting, I could feel myself getting hot for some
Yeah,
reason.
it's a lot of hot air and a lot of energy all
Hot
happening
air.
like right here.
That's exactly what it is. Hot air. We're spewing.
Just spewing.
Just spewing it.
We're just spewing hotness over here is what it is. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I need to talk about my week. My
Oh
whole
yeah.
my whole week, um,
The whole 2 days of it?
the whole 2 days of it.
Well, it's not
It's
even finished. So a day and a half.
yeah, but this morning was already like today's already been full and it's only like 12:30. But so the girls, Elizabeth and Delaney, are gonna start school on Thursday. There's no point in Rachel having to pay for daycare for a couple of days, right? So I had them yesterday and then I had them this morning until their dad got off work. So I'm trying to get ready for the podcast. So I'm in there fixing my hair and my face and all that. And Elizabeth comes in the room. Nana, Delaney hit me with the hammer and I barely hit her with a toy, but she's crying. Okay. So I go
I
in there.
barely hit her.
Barely. She's like, it didn't hurt. Anyway, so I go in the room. Delaney is sprawled on the floor, just bawling her little baby eyes out. So what had happened was Delaney asked Elizabeth, can I plug in the computer, the laptop? Because Elizabeth was on the laptop, and Elizabeth told her no. And Delaney's like, but I just want to plug it in for you. I'm just trying to be nice. And Elizabeth's like, I don't want it plugged in. So Delaney decided to pick up a hammer. Now, don't ask me why they had a hammer in the room. I don't know. But she picked it up and then she threw it at her sister. So then Elizabeth
Oh,
decided to grab a giant toy car. It was like this big, this toy car, and chunk it at Delaney.
I
uh,
find girls fight so much, eh? They
so
bicker
much.
so much.
So I go in there and I'm talking to Delaney and I'm like, baby girl, I was like, you have to respect when people say no, like she doesn't
Yeah.
want it. She's like, but I'm just trying to help. I was like, I know you are.
But you
I
can't
said,
force your
you
good intentions on people.
know. So I'm having a talk with her. And then I look at Elizabeth and I'm like, Lizzie, why couldn't she plug the computer in for you? She's just trying to be nice. Well, I didn't want it plugged in. Okay, why? I just didn't. Okay, but what is the reason you don't want it plugged in? She's like, because when
Mhm.
it plugs in, the lights turn on because it's on a base that has a fan anyway.
Oh, okay.
So, and she didn't want the lights in her eyes. I was like, okay, so you have a valid reason. Just tell your sister, I don't want it plugged in because the lights bother me. But when you just tell her no, it seems rude and ungrateful. Anyway, I'm going back and forth with these two little kids. Anyway, all is well. I made them
All
hug
is
each
well.
I made them hug each other, apologize, and say I love you. I was like, y'all need to learn to love each other a little bit better. Like y'all are too young to be having grown bickering problems. You know what I'm saying? That'll come later in life. Right now,
Oh,
y'all
yeah.
just need to love each other.
Soon enough.
Man. So that was my morning. And then, you know, oh, and Tigger. No, why do I keep calling him Tigger? We used to have a cat named Tigger, and he was orange, and Bandit is orange. And for some reason, I continue to call Bandit Tigger.
I was going to say, don't tell me you got another
Oh,
cat.
God, no. Um, but I'm laying in bed. I'm just scrolling because it was so comfortable. It was so cold anyway. And I hear the cat howling. I'm like, what the heck? Well, Doodlebug had brought in a baby lizard all the way to my room,
Oh,
but it was already dead by the time I saw it. But Bandit did not like it at all. So she is bellowing like something horrible is happening to her as she's staring at the floor at this dead lizard and she's just losing her mind.
Oh my gosh.
Like, okay, y'all
Poor
just
thing.
everybody needs to stop.
Everybody, everybody, get to your corners.
Right? The cats, the kids, stop it. Anyway, so that was all today.
That's
No,
funny.
it's all good. It's all good.
I had a very quiet day today. Well,
That's good.
so far, I mean, it's only 2 o'clock here, so
Right. Anything can happen.
like
Don't
all
get
hell could break
comfortable.
loose in the next 10 minutes. You never know,
You do not.
right?
Yes, I
But as
agree.
it stands right now, yeah, it's been quiet. Meg went to help her mom do some stuff. Everybody's at work. So
You're living the life.
other than the cat hounding me to come and let him in and out, in and out, in and out, like I'm his beck and call girl.
Yes.
That's it. Just
Living the life.
paperwork. And that's it. Trying to figure out what I'm going to film this afternoon because I haven't done that yet.
You already did mine. And it's up already.
Look at you.
Oh, because Tube Buddy says on Tuesdays, this is the time that you do it. So I'm just trying it out. I don't know. It's a crapshoot. Just roll the dice and go with it.
I think it is.
Speaking of crapshoot, let's talk about our topic for the day.
Oh, yes.
Nothing to do with crapshoots.
So what do we have here? We have debunking myths, true or false, and do we believe in any of them? That's
Absolutely.
what I have written down. And yeah, I have written quite a few down.
Oh, me too.
And to this day, I still believed in some of them.
I didn't know some of these. Like, I was just like, really?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Should I tell my funny story first, or should we do some
tell
myths?
your funny story because I couldn't find a funny story.
Okay. So it has to do with the myths. I should have pulled it up already. Because you have to see. So what I am talking about. Oh goodness. I have to find a good picture though. So I always thought a jackalope was real because I have seen so many pictures and they look so freaking real, which I know is ridiculous, but we live in Texas, okay? Anything is possible. So a jackalope is a combination of it's a horned rabbit. It's a rabbit with horns. Now, I know logically speaking, that doesn't make sense, but when you have seen them everywhere, it just seems so real.
You've actually seen them in the wild or just
pictures?
Pictures?
Just pictures. Or like, here, I'm going to share my screen. So this is what I've seen. And so anybody who is watching our YouTube will be able to see the screen as well. Okay. Can you see? All of these, right? So you just see, stop, go away.
Okay, well, that looks real.
Right? Like, does it not look like that is a possibility? It's Texas. How, whatever. We have strange stuff. They are not real.
Wow.
So what happened was, here, let me stop this. What happened was we were somewhere in San Antonio and it's this big place. It's an eating place and they have all these dead animals on the wall. Okay. And there were jackalopes. And I looked at my husband, thought I was as right could be. I said, see, I told you they are real.
Oh my God.
He's like, babe. He's like, they're not. I was like, they are. Look, they are up there with all the other dead animals. They are real. And he's like, okay, go ask the guy behind the counter, whatever it was. And I was so convinced that I was right. I walked over there with all the confidence in the world, just waiting for this man to prove my husband wrong. So I woke up. I was like, will you please tell my husband that these jackalopes are real?
It's a real thing, I tell you.
Looked at me and he's shaking his head and he starts laughing. He's like, ma'am, I'm so sorry to tell you. But your husband's right. Those are not real. He said it's a real rabbit and they're real horns, but they don't belong on each
Oh
other.
my gosh.
I was so disappointed because my whole life I thought they were a real
How did you
animal.
even stay there after that? I would have said, let's go. I would have
and
got so busy.
and the kids were younger, so all the kids are there. They're just watching mom make a complete idiot out of herself.
Oh, that's
uh,
sad.
so that's one of my funny stories. And
Yeah.
then I have one more. And this is like myths, right? So you think it's so real. Anyway, I did not know. I always thought that a violin and a fiddle were two different instruments. They are not. But I was convinced I was right once again. They sound so different. How can it be the same instrument? So again,
Yeah.
we are at the music store, getting Kyle his first guitar because he wanted to learn how to play guitar. And I was so convinced that they were separate. I asked the guy for a fiddle, and he goes, "Well, we have violins," and I was like, "No, but I'm looking for a fiddle," and he's
Hmm.
like, "They're the same thing." I was like, "No, they are not."
See, now
You work here and you probably know music better than I do, but you're wrong. Like, they are not.
I probably would have fell for that because I would have thought like a fiddle is a lot, I don't know, not smaller, but
They're
I don't,
a, they're the
they're
same
the same
exact
thing.
instrument. It's just how they are played. I was like,
Yeah.
that blew my mind. Again, slightly disappointed.
Yeah.
It's like people are just raining all over my parade with all of my myths that have been debunked and I've been proven wrong. So
Yeah.
sorry if I have busted anybody else's bubble that the fiddle and the
Bubbles.
violin, right?
Could
These
you
are not
imagine?
things, people. Devastating. Just devastating.
It's funny though how you go through your whole life thinking
Mm-hmm.
of a certain thing. And like there's some things in here that to this day I probably until I looked this up, I
Yeah,
probably would have been telling my kids and they'll be telling their kids and you know what I
but
mean?
that's how
Like,
it happens. Like
yeah,
myths, old wives' tales, they just get
yes,
passed down from generation to generation.
100%.
All right. Do you have any disappointments in your life?
I can, you know, I racked my brains and I'm sure there's a trillion of them. But
You
maybe
just don't
I'm just so
remember.
traumatized over it, I've forgotten. I don't know. But I could not think of one. There was one I remember many, many years ago. Something happened where I don't know, someone said you had to go into the store and you had to say something and whatever in order to get served or and but I don't know if that was just like an April Fool's joke. Like at the back of my head, I can't remember the
Right.
surrounding thing. So I thought, I'm not going to even try and figure that one out. But I know I was embarrassed. But again, I don't know what it was. So
That's
that's
okay.
that thing that like
It's
there's no
I'm just glad that I'm not the only one who's ever been embarrassed. So we're
Oh,
good.
I'm pretty certain I have been. Like I said, I probably well, thank God for old age. I've probably forgotten it all.
Just your body's way of
So,
protecting
right?
itself.
That's exactly right. This is one good thing about being old. When you
But
want
it
to
happens.
remember, you can't.
You can't. All right. So, what are some of the myths that you looked up? I want to see if I believe them or not.
Okay. So some of them are so simple. And these are ones I'm gonna just go off the cuff about the ones that I got told as a child. And I told my children when they were children. So one of them was uh if you swallow gum, it's going to stay in your stomach for 7 years. That is the biggest lie on the face of the earth. Not true.
Nope. I knew that one.
Oh, wait an hour after you eat before you swim. That's it's that's not a thing.
It is not.
It said in the thing when I looked it up that in the Wikipedia or whatever it was, it said that the reason for that was because a lot of people will overeat and then go into the pool and then they feel usually after a large meal or whatever you feel lethargic and
Mm-hmm.
tired and if you need to fight your way out of the water you can't. So that's why they say give it a but I honestly thought that that was a rule.
Oh, I did too. Now, I thought that for a long time. I knew it wasn't,
Mhm.
not just doing this podcast, but I'm thinking, okay, I don't care how full and lethargic I am. If I'm drowning, I'm pretty sure adrenaline's going to kick in and take over that. Oh, I'm just too tired to fight.
Yeah, this is just
I'm just going to give it up.
right. Gosh dang it. I wish I didn't have that 10th hot dog.
I
I
know.
probably would have made it.
Yep. Nine's the
Right?
limit. 10,
Then
you're
just
just
cut it off at 8 or 9. Just stop being a real pig.
then hopping in the pool.
Right?
Oh my gosh,
Um,
that is
the
so
other
funny.
one, and I swear this was a thing up until the day I read this. And here's the embarrassment for me, Steph, okay? Do you know that sitting too close to the TV doesn't make you blind? Oh my gosh.
It does not. But we told our
Like,
kids that. I even
uh,
told my kids that.
I was told that. Don't see,
Uh-huh.
do you want to go blind? It's going to ruin your eyesight
Yes.
and sit back further, further. And I'm scooching. I
And
remember
you're the
it,
next room.
right? It's like, okay, well, how far do you want me to go? Right?
You can't even see the TV
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, that was it. That was a big thing. And then when my kids were little, it was the same thing. Get back. You're
Skip that.
too
Oh, me
close.
too.
The
All the
panic, I
time.
feel it, right? Like my kids can't go blind,
Because everyone would know I let him sit close
right?
to the TV.
You'll be up on charges. This woman let them sit right in front of the TV.
And here we are in the
Oh,
day and age where our computer screens are
right?
like right here,
Our phones don't even leave our face.
burning images into our retinas.
So yeah, those were the first. The only other one that I think was a little bit of a shocker to me, and don't come at me, okay?
I'm
I,
not.
I I bet you there's some of you that still think this. Do you know that shaving your hair makes it grow in thicker and darker? It doesn't.
It doesn't. I knew that one.
See, I was under the understanding as if you pick your whiskers or your whatever, then it'll come in quicker and thicker.
Nope. And see, I debunked that myself because, when you start shaving your legs, as women,
Right.
it comes in the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, not now. Now it's like whatever, it's old lady leg hair. But when I was younger,
Yeah.
it was the same. It didn't matter how often I shaved my legs, it came in the same thickness and the same color, right?
Yeah.
So I already knew it was like, y'all are full of garbage. And so that like leads into one of mine is like if you pull a gray hair, two will grow in its place.
Oh, yes, I've heard that one too. Yeah.
Okay, you only have a hair follicle can only grow one hair. Like you can't have two hairs growing in a hair follicle.
Okay, but that just lends to the fact that it's traumatizing to have one hair. Could you imagine plucking it and having two come in?
All my hair is gray, so it doesn't even matter at this point. But I get it. I think it
Yeah.
was just to keep people from like, I don't know, pulling their hair out.
Well, that's true.
Oh, do you have any more or you want me to go?
Um, oh, here's a big one. Sugar makes kids hyper. Uh-uh. Beep down, nothing. Thumbs down. That's not true.
That's not.
It's not true. And that kind of was a shocker to me.
Was it?
It really was because I really do think there's some kids that if they have too much sugar, they get really rambunctious. And I don't know. It's something to do with the metabolism. It read like it was a great big thing, and I wasn't reading it all because you know what? I could care less. But I was just surprised by the fact that that was not a real thing.
Right. And now, like you said, though, there's always an exception to the rule, right? There's
Yeah.
always people who are more sensitive to certain things. But if kids are hyper, they're hyper.
Yeah.
Like Lainey, that girl is hyper all the time, sugar or no sugar.
Yeah.
If you give her sugar, she is no more hyper than she already is.
Was. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So that's it for now.
Okay, let's see. It is dangerous to hold in a sneeze.
I did hear that.
So it's a myth, but it is true.
It is true.
It is true. If you hold in a sneeze, because you could actually um build up too much pressure in your sinuses and your lungs, and you could burst blood vessels, rupture eardrums, have an irritated throat, and more if you
So,
hold in a sneeze.
little story that goes with that. And I found that out in the hospital. I was having surgery, and I always held in my sneeze, never ever let it out. And the nurse says to me, "What are you doing?" I said, "Sneezing." And she goes, "Oh." And this is what she was, little old lady. "Oh dear, don't do that." And I went, "Why?" And she said, "Well, one, it does damage to it could do damage to the inside, your insides. But second and foremost, you've just had surgery. Do you want to pop all those stitches?"
So true.
And I never thought of it that way. But to this day, when I do sneeze, I still feel like if I had stitches, I could pop them.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't stop it from being,
No, it still can be very forceful.
yeah.
I used to sneeze totally different than I do now because my father-in-law would make fun of me, not in a mean way, it was just in a playful way, but it made me very self-conscious because I would sneeze like that, and he would always
Oh,
tell me I sound like a mouse. So
a
I
little
changed the
bit.
way I sneezed. I don't know, it's
Well,
weird.
I don't know how we get into the subject of sneezing, but well, I do
Because you
know.
shouldn't hold it.
But right. So Meg, my daughter-in-law, she and I don't know if anybody else is like this. Let me know if you are, but she sneezes 3 to 4 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sneeze, sneeze, sneeze. And I'm like, can't you just do that all at once and be done with it? Why do you? That's the way she goes. I don't know. That's the way I sneeze.
Me too, at least three, sometimes four, sometimes five, depending on like what's irritating. You know why you
Wow.
sneeze? You know what causes sneezing? So you have all those little hairs in your
Yeah.
nose, right? So when you're breathing in everything that's in the air, dust and skin cells and fur and
Right,
whatever,
right, right.
and it gets stuck in the little hairs and it
Yeah.
irritates. And that's your body's way of getting rid of stuff. That's why you
Ah.
sneeze.
Here I thought it was just the drama queen in her. No.
No.
I fast learned that no, that's what she does all the time, whether anybody's around or not.
A drama queen. That's funny. Okay, so the myth that we only use 10% of our brain. And I'm not
Boy,
talking about you and I, I'm talking about general population.
hey, I use at least 10.
The fact is we don't know exactly how much our brain capacity we use, but it is more than 10%. Um, they've done CTs and MRIs. We do underutilize parts of our brain, but we use way more than 10% of our brain. But you always hear that we only use 10% of our brain. You have so much more potential. Yeah, I don't think
So,
so.
so I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm
Okay.
surprised well, I'm not surprised it came up because I was going to put that down there, but I thought, nah. But I watched a movie last night called Lucy. Now, Lucy got drugs put into her. It's part of this drug thing. So anyway,
Is she a girl?
it's a girl.
Okay.
She gets drug put into her. And anyway, she ends up, I'm not going to ruin it for everybody, but she ends up the drugs that were in her, because she kind of got into a fight, busted in her stomach. And part of the
Oh, she was a
drugs,
trafficker.
she wasn't. She got kind of sucked into it. It was a
Okay.
big accident that she ended up there. But anyway,
Okay.
long and short of it is these drugs went into her, and she was fast becoming utilizing 20, 40, 50 and percent of her brain, to the point where she can manipulate things. She could, like, I'm telling you, that movie is something you need to watch
Okay, I'm
because,
gonna write it
well,
down.
first off, it's got my favorite actor in the whole wide world. You know who that is?
Gerard.
No, you keep saying that every time. It's oh my God, now I can't remember. Anyway, my favorite actor, and she seeks him out because he's the foremost expert on the subject. So anyway, good movie. It's how the progression of the using the brain and all that kind of stuff
I
works.
wrote it
So
down. I want to watch it.
you should watch it.
I actually,
Squirrel.
oh. Okay, here's one that I was debunked for me a while back, but you've heard it and you still hear it to this day, and that is cracking your knuckles will lead to arthritis.
Yeah.
It does not. There's no truth or evidence behind this health misconception. Crack away if you must, but note that this may slightly decrease your grip strength over time. I don't know why, but it doesn't say. But it does not lead to arthritis.
Ah.
The next one I have is turkey. Eating turkey makes you sleepy. So here, our Thanksgiving, it's like turkey, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so tired," and they say it's because the tryptamine that's in it,
Yes.
or
Yep.
tryptophan. Sorry, but yeah, that is not true. It's because we overeat. Same thing with eating the whole 10 hot dogs and trying to get in the swimming pool, right? You already
Yeah.
feel lethargic and tired and whatever, no matter what you eat. If you eat too much, you're going to feel like that. So it has nothing to do with turkey.
So I'm just going to spin off of that comment because I also looked up things in the 1980s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was that the tryptophan in turkey made you sleepy. So what they ended up doing is they actually made a drug for babies in the 80s
With
because
tryptophan?
tryptophan, whatever it is,
Yeah.
uh, because the thought process is when babies were little, they had a low or a high pain tolerance. They couldn't feel pain. I know. Is that not the weirdest thing?
That's
Yeah,
horrible.
I know. So yeah. Oh,
Wow.
and then let's go back to that movie because that's another thing on that movie. So this drug, apparently, they said in this movie that women pregnant women secrete this drug, this thing in them to help the growth of the babies, their bone structure grow. So that's that part of that. So I guess what the people did was they took that drug, that what is that thing called? It's not a drug that you produce, but it's a hormone or
Like,
some sort of
yeah,
thing.
hormones,
They took
pheromones.
it and made it into a drug. There you have it. Anyway, I've just told 3 different stories and none of them were to
It's okay. And FYI, your favorite actor is Morgan Freeman.
Now here you go. That's it.
I looked up Lucy because it was
Favorite,
driving me crazy.
yeah,
It's like, who is it? Now I remember.
favorite actor in the whole wide world. Love
That's
him.
awesome. Okay, here's one that I know I've never believed in. Well, probably when I was a kid, because you were told this as a kid, but the moment I worked in the medical field, I knew this was absolutely a myth or a wives' tale, and that is going outside and the cold is going to make you sick.
Yeah.
It that does not. Viruses
Especially,
and bacteria
especially
make you
with your
sick.
hair,
Oh, with your
wet.
hair wet, you're
My
gonna
mom used to
die.
say that. Don't you go outside with your hair wet. Do you want to catch pneumonia?
Pneumonia. Yes. You're not just gonna get a cold, you're gonna have
Right.
pneumonia.
Well, that's right. It's going to be the worst of the worst.
But the reason we get sick more when it is cold is because we stay inside. We're more around each other. So we
Mhm.
spread our germs instead of our joy. So yeah, going outside when it's wet and cold is not going to send you to the hospital.
That's hilarious.
Okay, fun fact go.
Fun fact. Let's get to it. I got it right here.
Oh no, I just saw it on
Okay.
my paper. I was like, oh yeah, let me do that.
And some of the fun facts, friends, you're not going to like coming from me. Okay. You ready for this? Do you want me to 1 or 2?
Whatever makes you happy.
Okay. Did you know every time a fly lands on your food, it vomits?
Ew.
You want to know why? because
No.
it helps it digest the food that it landed on. That's why I cannot stand flies. Let's see. Do you know that sloths can hold their breath underwater longer than dolphins?
First of all, I didn't even know a sloth could go underwater.
Oh, it can.
They're so slow. Like, how does it not drown?
I guess that's why they had to figure out how to breathe
I
longer
guess so.
or hold their breath longer because it took them
It'd take
longer
me
to get wherever.
forever to get back up to the surface.
And last but not least, I'll let you do one. Did you know that there's more McDonald's in the US than there is hospitals?
That is, God.
True.
I mean, it's so
100%.
true. I can totally see it. Like, I can
The
just
friggin'
see
McDonald's on every other corner.
in a 10-mile radius around me how many McDonald's versus how
Same
many
here.
hospitals.
I'm sure it applies here as well, but it did say US.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Did you know it is impossible for most people to lick their elbow?
I want to try so bad. I can't.
Okay, for anybody watching or listening, please let us know if you are one of the few people who can
I
lick
bet
your
you they're all
elbow.
trying it right now. All 5 of you.
No, I actually got a thing saying our podcast had 50 downloads last week.
No
So
kidding.
yeah, it's great.
They must have been all on tryptophan or triazepam.
Like, oh, we're gonna try up and then what? Lori's just making that.
I don't know what it is. I'm just making that crap up.
It sounds good though. It probably is a thing.
What is it called? Tryptophan? Triazepam? I don't know.
Not
Okay.
a horse tranquilizer. Oh, okay. Did you know, speaking of tongues, that a crocodile cannot stick out its tongue?
I did know that. And do you want to know how I knew that? Not that anybody cares, but you're going to hear it anyway. It's because a friend lives in Florida, and he told me that that's a thing. And I said, "You're kidding me." He goes, "No, they can't do that." And I said, "Wow, I didn't know that." There, see? Stunning, stunning perception.
I'm speechless.
That man is brilliant. Anyway.
Okay, here is a weird one, and I want to know, like, how do people even figure this stuff out? Like, you have to be bored out of your mind to know that rubber bands last longer when refrigerated. How the hell long do you need a rubber band to last?
Okay, and not only that, who in their right mind puts the rubber bands in the fridge anyway to
Right,
find
that's
that
what
out?
I'm saying. And like, it had to just be a stupid experiment. Maybe one of those like high school science experiments. I don't know. It is the average person's left hand does 50%, 56% of the typing when you use the proper position. But you know why?
Why?
Because the most popular letters are on the left hand side of the keyboard.
Ah,
So
true.
those are my fun facts. Yeah.
Okay, I got one more.
All right, go for it.
Did you know the Beatles were only a band for 10 years?
No.
They were.
Look at you. Done. Mic drop.
Your minds are blown
Load.
officially.
But some of them went on to be like individuals, like Michael, no, what's his name?
Oh, maybe they did. I don't know.
McCartney, I know he did. I want to say Ringo also, and John Lennon. I think they all did. Okay, those are the only three I know, but I know there were four. Don't come at me, people. I don't know because I don't care enough to know. But
yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, the music I do know is because of my husband, because he loves music. He's a music lover, and so I mean he'll just be in here watching music videos all random. So
Wow.
I'm exposed to it whether I want it or not. Anyway, okay, one more because I just found this interesting. An ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain.
Aw, that's kind of sad.
They are mean. They are horribly mean animals.
Well, I guess they have to be.
I've been attacked by an ostrich. They're
I don't even
horrible.
know what to say to that.
They're horrible
Why?
mean.
Why were
Okay,
you attacked?
story time. So we have a drive-through safari, and we were with the kids. It was vacation. We had the kids. We were driving through a safari, and they give you this food to feed these animals. Okay. Of course, the ostriches are all up in there. So I am just like trying to feed the. No, he wants to stick his whole freaking head, neck, and everything into the window, go between my legs where the food bag was, and just snatch that sucker clean out and bit my leg at the same time. It was awful. And he wouldn't leave. And you know what my husband's doing? He's filming and laughing, and the kids are laughing as I am being mauled by this ostrich through the window.
Listen to your bracelet slamming against the desk like you're all kinds of angry.
I am. It was horrible.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And then
Poor thing.
So we went back a couple of years later, or we went to a different one anyway. And I was like, I'm driving this time. I am not being attacked. I'm driving. Y'all can be attacked. As God is my witness, if that freaking ostrich did not go from the passage all the way around to my side to try to get in the window, ostriches don't like me. I took my
No,
bracelet
because
off so
he
you don't
liked
have to
your
hear them.
crotch where the food was.
And my leg. I had a big old whelp on my leg where his little beak, like, no, they're evil. They're horrible, awful animals. No.
All righty.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Some more myths.
Let's see. Okay, so here's one. And as soon as I found this out, I was mind blown. Do you know that bulls don't get angry when they see red? It's the cape flowing around that bothers them. It's not the color red. And I didn't know that. I always thought it was red.
Me too.
So there you have it. Do you know you don't have to wait 24 hours to report somebody missing?
Yeah, I know you don't have to, but if you try to do it sooner, unless it's a child,
Yeah.
they won't take you seriously. They'll tell you
Yeah.
to wait.
Yeah. I found that interesting because I was always under the like,
Yeah, because they tell you,
yeah,
you have to wait. Because if you go to report, especially an adult,
yeah,
they'll be like, okay, well, it could be this, could be that. Give it
yeah.
time. You have to wait at least 24 hours. But you're right. It's not true. It's just what they say.
Yeah. It's I think I read that it was all the TV shows that promote that sort of thing. It's not really a thing. Like if you went to the police, they would take down a report.
Well, they
Would
will.
would they start a great big gigantic search right away? No, but they do.
They will take the
Like
report.
most of the time, they won't shoo you away. It's like come back in 48
No, they'll
hours,
take the
lady.
report.
Yeah.
Like I reported Rachel missing one time, and she was a teenager. And they're like, well, are you sure it could be this? I'm like, y'all are wasting valuable time. Like, it could be any of those things, but what if it's not?
Yeah.
It's frustrating how they just want to, and I get it. They don't want to put a lot of resources into it, but I'm just thinking if they did, how many kids might be found
Yeah.
if it happened more
Because
immediate?
it said in this report that the first 48 hours is the most critical.
Yes.
For anybody for that matter, but more so children, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, so I found that one interesting.
Crazy.
Let me see. Do you know that touching a toad will not give you warts?
I knew that.
I
They do pee on you though.
Oh yeah, I know, but yeah.
No,
That's another thing my mother always told me. Don't touch that. You're gonna
Oh
get
yeah,
warts.
I heard it all my life.
Oh my gosh. What's the other one I've got down here? Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's a crock. That's not true.
It's not. But you will still to this day see it everywhere.
Oh yeah.
all the diets and all the eat healthy and all
Yeah.
of this and all of that. And it's called breakfast for a reason, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. Yeah, but you're right. It's not.
Yeah, and what else do I have down here? Oh, I'm coming low to my list here, friends. Uh, oh, the biggest myth was that in the year 2000 was that Y2K thing.
Yep.
Everybody
And
was freaked out over that. People were,
they built that up hardcore.
I remember our work was doing stuff and we had to download reports so it wouldn't go missing. And I remember that so much. It was not
We
even
went and
funny.
pulled almost all of our money out of the bank
Yeah.
because
And then
there was
there
going to
was
be
nothing.
everything was going to shut down. You wouldn't
Gone.
have access to your
Yeah.
money. So
Yeah.
I
And then you
we
wake up the
didn't go
next day and nothing
crazy.
happened.
Nothing was down. Nothing
So,
changed. Everything was still the same.
yeah.
Crazy. It's because people buy into weird stuff because that was based
I
on a
don't know.
Mayan calendar.
And I don't, is that what it was?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know what the purpose of it was. I just remember work saying, okay, we're coming up to a time where we're going to have to, and we like the work we put into saving all the stuff that was in the computers was astronomical. So, yeah, I found that to be very interesting.
Oh, so no, I take that back. The Mayan calendar was something different. It was
Oh,
because the computer programming and all of that going from 99 to 00.
that's right.
That's
That's
what it
exactly
was.
right. Yes.
The Mayan calendar was some other something
Yeah.
rather another that happened. Um, okay, sorry.
You go ahead now. I've only got a few left, so.
Okay. Did you know Walt Disney did not draw the first Mickey Mouse?
No. Who did?
The company's chief animator, U.B. Warts or Lords. I can't read my handwriting.
Really?
Yeah, Walt Disney did not draw the first Mickey Mouse.
Well, how did he get away with that?
Well,
Well,
I
I
don't
guess the
know.
other
Has
one didn't.
has anybody ever really said, or is it a big assumption?
Oh, maybe the other one didn't have it copyrighted. I don't know.
I don't know. But he
It's a
worked
weird.
for Walt Disney, the chief animator.
Oh,
He worked for Walt Disney. I think Walt probably took it and made it what it is,
yeah.
but he didn't draw it.
Oh, interesting.
Weird, right?
So weird.
So, so have you heard that you have different parts of your tongue that taste different things? Like one section is sour, one section is sweet, etc., etc. Have you heard that before?
No.
It's a myth. It's out there. And it definitely is a myth. You don't have different sections to your tongue. Like
No.
if you touch salt with the tip of your tongue, it's going to be salty. If you touch sugar, it's going to be sweet. Like,
That's
you know what I'm saying? But no,
right.
a big myth is you have different sections of your tongue that that's that taste different things. It's a myth. It's not true.
Wow.
Did you know that you cannot get the flu from the flu shot? It's impossible because the flu shot is made of inactive ingredients. It's the way your body builds up immunity. The polio vaccine is the same exact way. It is inactivated polio that they give you. So your body builds up immunity. You can't get polio from the polio vaccine, just like you can't get the flu from the flu vaccine.
Wow, interesting.
Big myth.
Why do so many people get sick then?
Because they're already sick. They're already sick.
I don't know.
I do. It's medically
So that's
impossible.
all a coincidence that they get the shot and end up sick.
Yeah.
Huh?
But also, some of it could be psychosomatic. Oh, I got the shot. Now I feel bad because they've heard it all their life that it can give you, but it can't.
Now that's a word, eh? You don't hear very often.
But psychosomatic.
Psychosomatic. I'm going to use that on hubby tonight. You know what? You are psychosomatic, mister.
Not the right context, but go for it.
He doesn't know. He won't know.
All he's gonna hear is psycho.
That's right.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, this is so interesting to me. Vikings had horned helmets. That we no, they didn't.
Says
Those
who?
those the horned helmets were created for a 19th century opera. Vikings did not have horned helmets.
Wow.
I know. Now that one, I was like, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I still find that one hard to believe.
How do we know what Vikings had? Ain't none of them alive to tell us. I don't
Well, but
know.
how do we know they didn't? It's the same thing applies.
I don't know. I find it interesting though. So
Well, I believe the movies, and the movies said they had them, so they had them.
okay, the movies also say you can't report somebody for 24 hours.
I'm joking.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you know that old saying, blind as a bat? Bats are not blind.
No, no, they got good
They
eyesight.
they can see and they have echolocation.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't care enough to know one way or another, but I just like, okay, blind as a bat. Bats are blind, but they're not. They can see.
The same thing that everyone says that dogs only see black and white. That's
No,
not true.
they can see color. All right, you got a few more, and then
Okay.
I'll save a few of mine.
Okay. So, did you know that this is a myth that if you get bit by a spider and that spider uh gets a little bit of a pouch, like you if you say it's on your face and then you get like a little blister and whatever, and you pop it, that babies don't come out of it because people say that when you have a spider bite, it could lay eggs in there, and that then they'll just come out of your pimple or whatever's
Mm-hmm.
it's made. That's not true.
It's just a reaction from the venom in a
Yeah.
spider bite.
Okay. There is no such thing as the Slender Man.
No, but it's a
That is
very
a huge
interesting
myth.
story.
It is a big, interesting story, but there's no such thing. The same thing with Bigfoot. There's no such thing as Bigfoot.
Oh, but man, it's people.
I'm there's people filming it and taking pictures of.
Okay, but can we just talk about this? Is what year are we in? 2024. Yes, I actually had to look. We are in 2024 and we have phone cameras that can take phenomenal pictures, but there cannot possibly be one ungrainy
Yeah,
picture of
right.
Bigfoot to this day.
That or the Loch Ness Monster.
Yes.
Okay, that's another one. Now, the other one I have is in a small town, they couldn't figure out why there were so many babies being born. Like there was babies being born in this town, and don't ask me what town it was, I can't remember. And someone finally figured it out. At 5 a.m. every single day, a train would go through this town, wake everybody up. And basically they would just make babies.
Oh,
And that's how they all got pregnant. So they ended up naming it the baby train. Hello.
wow.
Yeah, go figure, huh? They couldn't figure out why the population was just exploding. And
Well, I would have never
that
thought that
that
just
5
because I
a.m.
wake up
train.
at 5 a.m. I'm going to start making
Well, I
babies.
guess they figure, we're awake. I don't know what their thought process is. It's absolute lunacy in my book, but
I was
who
going
am
to say,
I?
I'd be so aggravated that the train woke me up. There is no other reasonable thought that's going to enter my mind.
Exactly. And the only last one I have is in the 1980s, they used to think that aluminum and aluminum cans were linked to Alzheimer's. That's
Oh, I
not
kind of
true.
remember that.
Yeah, it's not true. They debunked that one. That's all I have.
I that actually is going to go into one of mine, but I need to look it up so I give proper information. I saved it. Okay, so going along with that, the myth that vaccines cause autism. That is
Vaccines.
vaccines.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Specifically the MMR, which is mumps, measles, and rubella.
Yeah.
So what happened was one person wrote a paper and it was published in a medical journal and it was completely false. They totally proved it wrong. They did 12 other tests and research and everything else, totally proved everything that he put in there. It was such a big deal that it was deliberate fraud that they took his medical license away. Dr. Andrew Wakefield is the person who fraudulently published a medical article in a medical journal saying that vaccines cause autism.
A pack of liars, eh? Just get everybody going, why don't you?
And even though all of it's been proven wrong and there's study after study after study,
People still believe it.
people still believe it. They don't, want to let
Yeah.
that go. But that just proves how much power one person can truly have. Just to publish something and then people take it as fact and it goes on for
That could be said
years.
for a lot of stuff, just
Yeah.
people spewing things and saying things that aren't true, and people just believe it. There's so many gullible people in the world.
Yeah, people like, people who believe that rabbits can have horns and stuff.
Yeah, those poor people, eh?
I know. Okay. Salt water boils faster. So, if you're boiling water, you put a pinch of salt in it, it boils faster, but it doesn't.
No.
The only way that salt water will boil faster, it has to be like sea level amounts of salt for it to actually, yeah.
Oh.
So I thought that was interesting. Oh, and I really didn't think about this in this way. So you know how you always like the five senses, sight, hearing. We actually have at least 20.
Oh, really? What are the other 15?
They didn't have all the 15. It just said etc. But it says we actually have close to 20, including balance, pain, and that makes sense. Pain is a sense. It's not the same as like touching something with your hand.
True. Yeah.
So balance, pain, movement, hunger, thirst, those are senses.
Oh. I guess. I mean, I guess they could be. I thought they were just natural reactions, not.
No, but it's what you experience.
Yeah. Huh.
So it's anyway, I thought that was interesting because
it is interesting.
I've always like, oh, we just have, the five senses, but we actually have more than that. And I will attest to pain as a sense because like that is some real experiences right there. Okay. You know how they talk about if you flush a toilet in the north hemisphere, it goes one way, and in the south hemisphere, it goes the other.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, but it's not true. It rotates the same direction regardless of what hemisphere you're in. It says like on one side of the equator, it does, but it doesn't. It's the same. Oh, and the last one I have on here is the myth don't touch a baby bird because then the mom won't come get it.
Oh, yes, I heard that one too. But that goes for any kind of baby animal. Like a rabbit.
This specifically says that birds have a very limited smell. So they're not going to smell a human on their baby. So no, it's not going to. Now I always heard, oh, if a baby bird falls from its nest, don't pick it up because
Yeah, just leave it.
yeah, just leave it so the cats can eat it or the
Yeah,
ants or whatever.
right.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a
Like,
chance.
first off, I'm sorry, but how is the mother bird, even if she does find it, going to get it back up into the nest?
It is incredible how they do that.
Really?
Like if it's a baby and it can't like flap, it's too bad. Like
But
either
that's
you
what
try
I'm,
to
yeah,
raise it,
that's what
yeah.
I'm talking
But
about.
if
Like,
it's
it's
one,
never going to
because
get up
most
there.
of them fall out when they're trying to learn how to fly.
Yeah.
So they will get
Or
the
their brother or
male,
sister will push them out because
right?
they want
That's
more food.
probably more like it.
Yeah.
But the male and female will come and they will like flap around it to make it flutter to get it back up in the nest. It's crazy how they actually
Wow.
do get them back up in the nest.
Interesting.
It is
This is
interesting.
just interesting stuff.
I was actually very like some of these. I was like, huh, I did not know that was not true.
Yeah, I know.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah. No, some were surprising to me for sure.
So,
Wow. Well, there we have it. What's coming up in our next podcast?
let me
What are
flip
we
to that
doing next?
page.
Oh, Extreme Karens and
Oh,
Keiths. I can
yes.
hardly wait for that one because I'm pretty sure I was called a Karen once or twice in my lifetime, and I'm okay with it.
I know I have been a Karen before. I'm not proud of it, but I have. And now sometimes I'm thinking, I wasn't really a Karen as much as I was just very passionate about taking care of business.
Yeah, but see, nowadays the, all you need to do is, you know,
Raise your voice.
kick up a fuss and you're a
Yeah, you're
Karen.
Karen.
The
And
video cameras come out and,
I know technically that's called Karens and Kyles, but
yeah.
my son's name is Kyle and I refuse to claim that. So we're going with Keith. So anybody who has a relative named
Keith,
Keith, I'm
Kent,
sorry. Anybody.
Kevin, whatever.
Anybody but a Kyle.
Yeah.
That's my baby. And he is by no means like that. He is my
So
most,
drop a comment if
yes.
you've had any run-ins with them so we could share on the podcast or
If you've
all
been
that kind
one,
of stuff. Yeah, if you've been one, we want to hear about it.
I will tell
You know.
my Karen stories. Like
Oh,
I have been a
uh,
Karen.
I definitely have. More
So
times than not, sadly.
more times than I care to admit, but
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where my family has literally just walked out of the store
Oh, okay.
going this
Well, I don't know if I've been that bad, but bad enough that people
oh,
look. I've
oh
turned a
yeah.
few heads, okay? And not for good reasons.
But you know what's funny? In that moment, I felt so justified because I didn't start out Karen like. I feel like I was pushed to Karen this.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get into that next
Yeah,
week.
we will. Let's save all that good talk for next week.
Yep. So you got
So,
anything else?
I don't.
Me either. So I guess this will be toodaloo.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.